All right, guys, here we are back again. 2 down, 1 over, ready to rock the mics. I'm Josh Mason. This is Matt Flanagan, and we're ready to roll, dude. How about you? You feeling good?
Yeah, feeling great, man.
Good, man. This is, the podcast thing we've been rocking for a while. This would be episode 17, potentially 18, maybe 17, 18.
Yeah,
one of them. But,
20.
you know what's crazy? I was just thinking about this the other day. It feels like we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
But we only been doing this for 3 months.
I know. Some people come out with like 100 episodes. And I'm like, wow.
I was looking back. I was like, damn, dude. I was like, yo, I looked at it and it was like 3 months ago. I was like, that was our first episode, 3 months.
Yeah.
So just think about we're not even.
But I feel like we've grown though.
100% in 3 months. Yeah, I feel like we've
yeah.
grown too. But it's just crazy to think it's only been 3 months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Once a week and
yeah,
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean that's crazy to think all right, we still got room to grow, but I think we're killing it, and I hope the listeners, you guys are enjoying it. Again, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and anybody that you know, tell them to hit it too, because we're trying to get to that 100 mark. We're like a couple away, and we're just stagnant.
We're close.
And I'm like, yo, please help us hit that century. We need that bad boy. We need that bad boy.
Yeah.
So anyways, like always, we pick our topics right before we go on, and today's topic was picked, and it is work ethic. Work ethic, which I think is a tremendous characteristic that must be present with successful individuals.
Yeah.
So what you think, Matt?
When you brought this topic up to me, it reminds me of myself. And really, this topic makes me think of my father. And I got my work ethic from my father. We've talked before, and you were blessed with talent. You were.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no question about that. I don't think I was. I feel like I had to really work for everything I got, and I got that from my father. And for me, it was super rewarding to achieve things through that. And it's something that is very important to me personally.
Sure.
That my work ethic be on point, and something that I really try to instill in others.
Yes.
And working with kids, working with coaching basketball, coaching kids in the weight room is work ethic.
Yeah.
And I think that is such an important thing. And it's a simple thing because effort could be controlled. Work ethic can be controlled.
Yes.
And you may not be gifted. You may not have, be 6'5" or whatever it is, but you can work.
Yes.
You can control that, how much effort that you put into something.
Yes.
So, and I saw my father do that throughout his entire life, and that's it just became second nature to me. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to connect a athlete to this word of work ethic that I think will resonate with a lot is think of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? Tom Brady was not gifted and talented and had all the natural ability, and what was he, round 6 pick? I don't even think he started at Michigan. So you take that and you have to understand his work ethic was probably on 1,000, right? And his ability was just essentially hey, here's the mission. I'm going to outwork everyone, which you see the benefits from that. So I think that's a clear case of saying, him having a great work ethic developed and helped him succeed simply because he didn't have it.
Yeah.
So, but you see the shirts all over, I will not be outworked, or, outwork everyone. It's true. And what's the saying about the talent? Hard work beats talent.
When
if
talent
doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant. I remember growing up, I remember seeing it all the time. I was like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
What? I didn't get it. But yo, dude, goddamn it, 100%. Because how many talented athletes or individuals that that fell short or just didn't really reach their potential because they just didn't put the work in.
And I see that a lot in grade school too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's important to lose when you're in grade school.
Sure.
And you see some of these programs where you win. But I feel like it's not you could be teaching other things.
Yes.
Because I've seen somebody that's supposed to be amazing and has all the talent in the world, and they don't ever learn how to work hard. And then you see the kid that continues to work hard and that passes them out.
Yes.
And he passes them out. And I see that. I've seen that a lot through basketball and just in this field in general, where you have these middle school athletes that, maybe they, whatever, they're very good, but they just don't work. And then you have the kid that just grind.
Yeah.
And then all of a sophomore year, junior year, it's like, that's the guy
yeah.
you want,
He puts that work in.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
And it leads you to success. So it's like work ethic is, and I'm not sure like full definition, but like my thought is it's the way you approach something, right? Like work ethic. So it's like the way you approach your work. Like you can approach it as I'm going through the motions.
Right.
Right. You can approach it as, I'll go hard on Monday and, coast the rest of the week through it. Or you can approach it that there's a goal, there's a vision, and every time you do this work, you're putting everything in it. Yeah. Right. And I think that's what defines people. And if we want to give a meter of like where you are on that work ethic meter, and it's like, let's just look at the work week, right? Yeah. Like Monday usually sucks for people because they're like, it's Monday. Oh, shit. And then Tuesday, they might come in a little bit better. And then Wednesday, it's like hump day. It's only 2 days away from the weekend, right? And then, Thursday is like, all right, one more day. And
almost
then Friday. Yeah, and then they're out. So, like, it seems like it's like this with the work ethic. You're hitting these valleys where it's not consistent for you. It's not consistent, so you're not putting in that work. And I think no matter what, to be successful, and if you want to dominate and be on the top of anything, like your work ethic has to be on point. Like you have to have the approach of whatever you're doing that you're going hard in trying to make it the best.
Yeah, interesting. I like how you define that. For me, I always associate it with effort. Yeah. And for me, just I like this field alone. So like what gives me a lot of confidence is the amount of effort that I put into doing this and learning this and trying to better myself and trying to better myself as a coach. And I read a lot, do a lot of continuing education courses and stuff. And like for me, it's the effort that I put into. Yes. And like when I'm coaching someone, I see the effort. Then I think it goes hand in hand with kind of what you're saying. But I've that's what I've always,
Well, I think there's multiple like components to work ethic, right? So like what you're saying is like effort. Like I think in work ethic, like effort does have to be up, right? But I think focus. Right? You can say focus. Like focus has to be work ethic. I think
an interesting point on that is and almost to piggyback, you can show up all the time.
Yes.
And put 50% effort in.
Yes.
And put like 50% focus in.
Yes.
But it's those people that are dialed in for that hour or whatever it is, or doesn't have to be in the gym or whatever. Yep. But those people that have that focus and put that intense effort into it, that's work ethic.
So I mean, that's like you even hit on another component I feel like is important, is showing up.
Showing up.
So like showing up, effort. I think like there has to be a desire to improve.
Yeah.
Right? Like so you're not just going through it, but you're actually going through it to get better.
Right.
Right? So like I think all of those things have to exist in a great work ethic person or characters around it. But yeah, dude, it's interesting. I feel like a lot of people, especially our society, is susceptible to the reverse of like great work ethic, only because the way our society is built now is like this technology and everything is kind of is made to be easier and simplified. And like, no, you don't have to go get things anymore because you could get delivery, or you don't have to shop anymore because you could do it on your phone. You don't have to, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think like it's even harder now to find people or kids or with great work ethic, because if you want to say, let's go back in the day when we didn't have those resources. So like it had to be done then, right? There was no choice. Or let's say a person with great work ethic is like, you have no choice. So if like you're poor and rent's paid and you need food on the table, like you have no choice but to do this.
You're forced to focus and you're forced to put in that effort.
Yep.
And when things are simplified, it's so hard to like, but I could sit in this comfort and make it happen. Yeah, you're absolutely right with that.
And then I think procrastination then comes in that effect, because it's
I'm
like
guilty with that sometimes.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I'll start next week, or I'll go hard for the 3 days of this, or hey, we're preparing for this season. Okay, we have 3 months to prepare for the season. So you bullshit it for 2 months, and then you realize it's 30 days out, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go hard as hell.
Oh yeah,
like that's the wrong approach too.
Right.
So I think it's a consistent
effort,
right, on doing what you're doing with it when it comes to work ethic.
Yeah. And what I'm thinking of a quote is that, motivation will carry you more than inspiration, or not inspiration, then what am I thinking? Oh no, discipline will carry you.
Discipline.
I totally butchered that.
It's all good though. You figured it out.
Yeah, discipline will carry you.
Yeah, and discipline is saying that you're going to do it.
Yeah, you're not, because you're not always going to want to do it.
Yes. And growing up for me, like we weren't rich. But like I wasn't dirt poor either, but there were some things that I didn't have access to or that were as easy. So like there were some things that I had to work for because I know that was the only way I was going to get it.
That's it.
Right. So I think like that's instilled in some individuals, but I think there's also the flip side of it of where, hey, it has to be modeled somewhere. So you said like your father. I would give the same example of my father. Like I saw the way he worked, right? Construction and all that good stuff. Like, and it was hard labor work, but he had to do it to take care of his family, right? It was necessary. There was no excuses behind it. So I think like obviously seeing that modeled is going to help you. And then individuals that may, outside of their home, like you look for individuals that do have that work ethic, that trend, that pattern of success is like maybe it's modeled there too, right? Like, because I'm trying to think of like kids that maybe don't have it modeled for them. Like, what happens?
Yeah, well, here's my question for you: is like, now that things are getting simplified, and maybe they don't have that example. Like, how do we teach that?
Yes.
Like, it's like our job is super important, and our staff, like our job is super important. We're working with kids, we're helping mold them. Like, how do we teach them How do you teach that?
I know.
And I feel like for me, I do try to show it to the best of my ability. Like I genuinely do try to show it. And I talk about a lifestyle audit. I'll talk about this. I was telling you, like I got off social media. I saw what my screen time was.
Saw that.
And I was like,
I thought you blocked me.
No,
I know,
block you.
but I was like,
I wouldn't.
Then I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, he's doing the social media thing, right?
You're a cool dude. I wouldn't. But for me, it was like, I think I can put more quality effort into a lot of other things than that.
Yes.
And then it was, and because it's important to me.
It is.
And I feel like we just talked about balance, and I feel you want to balance things, but I think I can really raise them all up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If I'm spending this much time on my screen time, am I making excuses for why this book hasn't been read and this continuing education thing hasn't been? And I wanted to start this running program and this and that. Like, no, I think I can trim that down and really like hone in and get this discipline going.
Yes.
So, but anyway, I guess I kind of got off track there a little bit. But back to like our job's important.
Yep.
We work with kids.
Yep.
And adults.
Yes.
How do we do that? Like, besides setting an example, like what else can we do to help instill a work ethic?
I think, and you're right, it gets difficult because of our society, right? But I think, the message, the way we talk, our culture of what we put in here. So like, let's go example of like, hey, if you're late to our gym, grab a plate. There's accountability, right? So we're putting in things in place within here. Like there's a system. There's things if you skip like that, we're going to talk to you about it. If you leave your folders out, there's a punishment behind it. We have goal season that's, that runs throughout the years, and there's punishments if you don't get your goals, right? So like, I think we do a good job on putting things in place and structures and guardrails essentially to kind of create of what we're doing.
That path.
And I think people coming in here understand that, hey, we keep a pace. Your job in here is to get work done. Like we're not in here to BS. Like I think we have that ultimate culture of people understanding that. So I think just by that and continue to polish that and drive that home, I think that exists alone, right? Without us saying modeling it, it's more or less like dictating the culture and what we do in our environment.
Because we are lucky, we do have a like our athletes and adults really have great work ethics. They do. They show up, and that, in my opinion, that has continued to feed off each other because of the success of somebody comes in here and gets success, and it kind of compounds.
Yes,
where like we continue to steer and we do everything that we need to do, and we're blessed with a great staff.
Yep.
but the actual members that come in here and do this stuff and continue to raises the level of everybody. So you're right, with that culture, man, it continues to marinate and it continues to grow, and it helps prove great things for everybody.
It does. And it's funny because even if, say if you are slacking or you're not doing your best, especially in our space, like you're going to stick out.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going to stick out. So either A, you're like, this place isn't for me, but two, like a coach is going to find you and say like, dude, listen, this is how we do it here.
Dial it up.
Dial it up. So I think we have that kind of covered. But again, work ethics is a great component for success, and you need to find it. You need to make sure it works. And the easy part of like work ethic is this, is simple as there's no excuse.
Right.
There's no excuse for you not to be your best, right? Because you can't say this person is more talented or this person had more resources or, this person had help from this individual. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you on what work you put in to be better. So that's why I said it's like, I will not be outworked, right? Like that's the big slogan. So simply, as a person, you can just work at it. And if you put the work, you can achieve that success of the people that may be more talented than you, or the people that had more resources than you, or the people that had things handed to them. So it's such an important lesson that if individuals understand, like it can reap super benefits for your life and future. And I'll tell you, yesterday I was at a football banquet, and there was an athlete at the football banquet that like grabbed all the awards, nice. And it was like, oh man, again. And we work with this athlete, and it just I was like, yeah, I see why he has all these awards, because dude, I know his work ethic.
Yeah.
Like we're a part of that process. Like it's undeniable of his work ethic.
Yeah.
And that's why he received all this, and all the coaches that were talking about it, even the kids that were talking about him. And I'm like, man, that's the recipe. Yeah. Like if you have great work ethic, like it's going to be hard to fail. And not saying that you're not going to fail, but like it's going to be hard to fail.
Right. Absolutely. And I think like everybody can put in that effort and everybody can work hard.
Yeah.
And one thing is like comes up all the time is excuses.
Yes. Right.
Everybody has excuses, and I would, but. And as soon as you say that, like you've already checked, like
yes.
I've stopped listening. Right.
Yep.
And I've had people that growing up that I've said that, well, I would, but, and there's, nah, shut up.
Yep.
Right. Get out of here. No,
right.
But that's such a big thing. Like you hear it in here all the time too. And people coming in, oh, I would come to the gym, but, or I would do that. But,
yeah.
But what? You
know
what I'm saying? Like,
no.
Look at this, the dude. He didn't make any excuses.
Right.
He showed up and did this over and over and over and over and over. So quit making excuses and do it.
And that's when we say get your mind right.
Get your mind
because like how many times have you had adults say, oh, I would come to the gym, but I don't have time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right? That's bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
Or athletes, like I know athletes that, won't go out for a sport, or maybe won't, come and train because they don't want to do the work.
Right.
Like that's just because, it seems hard.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's too much, where you're like, man, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Like, that's where we're at. So it's like, get your mind right and make it work.
If you want something, you're going to find a way to do it. If
always.
You really want to find, if you want to do something, you're going to find a way. And that's been my experience too. If I want to do something, I'm going to find a way to do that. And I have to I really have to hold myself in check and hold myself accountable. Because if I do start making excuses, and that's, we did the podcast on why you have to surround yourself with good people.
Yes.
You got to call me out.
Yes.
If I'm full of shit, you let me know.
Right.
Yeah. If I'm making excuses, let me know. So I'll put up barriers myself and that don't need to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, if it's important to you, you'll find a way.
I'm going to find a way to do
right?
it. Yep.
If not, you're going to find an excuse.
Right.
And that's simply stated. And I even look at when you come into our membership, and they look at prices like, oh, it's expensive. It's like, really, we're not expensive, right? No. When it comes down to, especially the value that we provide. But then you say, oh, well, how much do you buy a coffee every day, or Starbucks, which is $5. You know,
more than that.
What
It's
about
like
what
$11.
about when you go, out for the weekends? Friday, Saturday, every weekend. So you got like 4 weekends in a month.
Yeah.
You spend $30 to $50. Like,
yeah.
how
going out
are
to
we
eat
expensive?
One time, yeah, going out to eat one time could pay for a month.
Yes,
right.
Like, are we like when you look at it like that? Like, yo,
Not
wait a
really.
second. It's not that you don't have the money.
Yeah.
Again, priorities. It's not
Sure.
important to you, so you find an excuse, and that's where it works. But if it was important to you, which it should be, health should be important to you, you're gonna make it work. You're gonna say, hey, you know what? We're not going out every weekend. We're gonna do 1 week in a month.
Yeah.
Or hey, you know what? I'm not buying the coffee anymore. I'm gonna make coffee at home.
That's right.
I'm not going out for lunch. Like, these are the things that you make. You have to adjust and sacrifice sometimes. And that's the big thing, like sacrifice for reward. Like, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
No, I agree.
So,
what's to you? Like, where do you put your work? Like, where do you, because I know you and I both value work ethic.
Yes.
And that's just like, goes way, way back, before the 5 minutes before we
Sure,
talked about
sure.
this. But we've always valued that,
Yep.
and like this day, like today, right here, right now, like where does your work go? Where does, for you?
So I think a big part of it is like self-development.
Yeah.
Like a big part. So it's like there's different components of that, right? So I'm a family man. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, being the best father, being the best husband, taking care of those priorities. How does that work? All right. I'm a businessman. So like the businesses, now how do I put the work into there? What needs to be done? What buckets need to be filled? So if I can continue to educate myself and develop myself, then I can provide a better version on filling those buckets. So a big part of my work ethic is definitely self-development on how I can exchange and be better at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, agreed. And
how
how
about you?
Yeah, I think that really the same thing. And I think that's why we get along well is, one thing I learned a long time ago is like, I got to be the best version of myself to help you become the best version of yourself. And that, like, when I say that, I'm talking about the people that I work with, because you work with a lot of different people. And I try to self-development.
Yep.
I put a lot of effort into that, and just being happy, being fit, being emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, being the healthiest version of me, and also being the best trainer. So it does come down to putting the work in and grinding and, getting continuing education and going the extra mile for people, learning how to work with different people.
Yes.
And that for me is where a lot of my work goes. And also, being at home, being with my wife, and making sure that that's a super healthy relationship. I touched on this before in the podcast is, every Wednesday is date night.
Yeah.
So
and that's effort.
Yeah, that's
Because that does, because you can easily just let that
easily,
slide,
and I would never want to take that for granted.
Right.
She's a wonderful woman. I love her to death, obviously. And the same thing, I try to make sure I put effort in with my father, with my mother, and make sure I spend time with them. And, that's work too. And it's, it's super valuable time.
Yeah.
Like work ethic, I don't think doesn't just have to be reading a book and running and doing all those things. So I think it is super important to understand that there's different things that we are talking about. I know we talk about the gym a lot and working with people a lot.
That's our world, right?
Right. That's our world, and that's where we go with. But you can put a lot of work and effort into other things as well that are important too. And,
I mean, you think of a student athlete, right? Like their work ethic better be good in school.
It better be.
Their homework,
Absolutely.
whether that's study habits, their homework, even extracurricular activities behind that. And then you say your goals in sports, like whether that's sports, you better be working on your left hand or right hand, your footwork, you're in training. Like, so it does change of where that work should be at, all based on what your priorities and goals are. And we all have that. So like as businessmen, entrepreneurs and running this, like you said, self-development is huge, man.
Yeah.
Like we got to be on point with that. But no, I like it. Anything else you want to add to it?
No, I'll say thanks to my dad if he's listening to this.
Yeah,
I know
thanks, Pop. Thanks, Papa Dukes.
Appreciate it. Got this from you.
That's right.
But yeah, thank you, man. But yeah, I don't know. Any tips on any extra tips? Anything?
I think like I said it before is this is such a simple skill.
Yeah.
That can reap you major benefits.
Yeah.
If you can get a hold of this one right here, it's like it kind of just leads you to where you want to be. Like if you have great work ethic, it's going to be hard to miss your goals, to to fail or not hit where you want to hit.
Yeah.
Right. Because anything with consistent effort and focus, and the desire to get better, like that's tough, dude, not to be successful. Right. Yeah. So it's like this one thing, work ethic. If you guys, the kids, adults, are you listening? Like, if you know your work ethic is not there, turn it around.
Turn it around.
And you know how to do it. Like, you just got to change your daily habits. You got to do a life audit and figure out how you can make this better, because it's there. And like the famous saying is hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. So like, put that work in.
And you can't think your way into this. You have to act your way. It does take action.
It does.
You know, if you keep thinking about things, no, you have to take action. And that's an important thing. And one other thing that I'll comment on before we close it up is motivation does help.
Yes.
And I was thinking about my brother. I just gave my dad a big shout. I got to give my brother a shout. What my brother does every year is he writes himself a letter to his future self.
Nice. I like
and,
that.
you know, writes it, Dear Tim, congratulations on blah, 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 blah. All these things that he knows that he's going to accomplish in that year or wants to accomplish in that year. And he does it every time. And that's big time motivation for him. So, you know, I just got to throw that out there. Like, find.
And then there must be a day he reads it
every year. Yeah. I think it's around New Year's sometime. Yeah. It might be his birthday. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Not bad. Yeah. I actually like that.
I know.
What I used to do, and it's not, probably in the past couple of years I didn't do it, but I used to, every birthday, I would take an audit of myself.
Yeah, nice.
So whether it was like, finances, fitness, family, like you look at everything and say, okay, this is where I am at this age, and like you check it, and then the next, boom, you save it, and then you look at like, oh, here's where I am from this age, and like what improved and where you at. So I like that letter idea. That's pretty cool.
That's good. Yeah, he told me he did that, and I was like, dude, that's great. I love it.
Nice.
Love it.
All right, well, another episode in the books, dude. I like it. Work ethic. Make sure you have it. Make sure you obtain it. Make sure you go after it, okay? This is 2 Down, 1 Over podcast. I'm Josh. This is Matt. Please subscribe to our channel. We'll keep kicking these episodes out to you. We'll see you guys later.
See you.
Peace.